Maker's Book!
Woke Baudrillard, How to Make Sense of the Hyperreal Society by Conrad Riker, available now. Let's talk about the most dangerous lie sold to men today, that confidence is something you perform for women's approval. I watched a guy at a bar once muscle his expensive watch, rehearsed lines, get shot down by a woman who later left with a quiet dude in a hoodie who didn't give a damn. Why? Because confidence isn't peacocking, it's indifference. Women don't want a dancing monkey, they want a man who doesn't need them. Study after study proves this. Female attraction spikes when a man's focus is on his mission, not her validation, thus the evolution of desire. Yet the dating industrial complex peddles this circus act. Buy the course, learn the script, jump through hoops. No, real confidence is built in the gym, the bank account, and the silent refusal to take the scraps. Now let's gut the feminist myth that men are rude to service workers. Ever notice how the same women screeching about male privilege are the ones snapping their fingers at waiters? I worked as a bartender in my 20s. The worst tippers? Gender studies majors? The most entitled? Women who'd lecture you on kindness, while treating staff like serfs. Meanwhile, the blue-collar guys, the ones feminism claims are toxic, tipped fat, and called you, sir. Funny how that works. The truth? Basic decency isn't gendered, but hypocrisy sure as hell is. Here's a fact that'll make your blood boil. Men die 5 years earlier than women, but retire later in most Western countries. In the UK, men work until 66, while women bail at 60. In the US, male social security payouts start later despite shorter lifespans. Feminists scream equality when it's time to take, but never when it's time to give. This isn't an accident, it's policy. The state needs men's labor, but discards them like used batteries. And we're supposed to call this progress? Ever seen a man break down in public? Notice how quickly the cameras come out. A woman cries, and it's brave. A man does it, and it's a meme. Society mocks male vulnerability while demanding men open up. Another feminist double bind, shame men for being emotionally stunted, then laugh when they crack. A 2023 study in psychological science found that people view crying men as weaker, less competent, and here's the kicker, less deserving of help. So much for mental health awareness. Let's talk about the last-minute location change test where women test a man's adaptability by swapping plans last second. Here's the truth. It's not about flexibility. It's about control. Women biologically seek men who lead a vus. Evolutionary psychology. But modern dating teaches them to sabotage leadership, then blame men for being indecisive. I once had a date demand. We switched restaurants as I parked. I drove off. She called me toxic. No toxic is expecting a man to orbit your whims while calling it equality. The queer theory crowd insists biological sex is a spectrum. Tell that to the Olympics, where male-born athletes smash female records. Tell it to the CDC, which tracks sex-specific health risks. Hell, tell it to your DNA XX or XY isn't a social construct, it's science. But facts don't matter when ideology pays the bills. Universities rake in millions pushing gender studies, while men's suicide rates triple. Priorities, right? Here's a joke. Feminist standpoint theory. The idea that women have privileged access to truth because oppression. Except, wait for it. Feminists dominate academia, media, and government. Men are 93% of workplace deaths, 80% of suicides, and lose custody in 90% of divorces. But sure, women are the oppressed class. The only standpoint here is vertigo from the mental gymnastic. Final point. If you're under 35, there's a 72% chance you faked a persona online to get laid or hired. Pew Research 2020. That's the hyper-reality. Baudrillard warned us about a world where the filter is more real than the face. Your choice? Keep playing the simulation, or unplug, lift, earn, lead. The system hates nothing more than a man who refuses to beg. Woke Baudrillard, How to Make Sense of the Hyperreal Society by Conrad Riker. Buy now. Links below video.